settled down. We had a full day of planning and just kind of prepping for the tournament. You know, a lot of when you host, there's just a lot of different things that you got to go through. So it was an exciting day, and I know the team is really excited still. So, but we're looking forward to it. It's a great draw. You know, we have some familiarity with Virginia. We played them twice the first weekend, and which at this point seems like a year ago. But you know, we're a very different team at this point, and so are they. You know, so it's kind of like we have a lot of data and information, but going back to just kind of scouting them with fresh eyes of like how they're playing right now, and then obviously have a good North Florida team and an Elon team that's hot. They won their conference tournament, so you know, don't want to overlook those guys. But you know, we're really excited about the matchup. It's you know, you kind of go from facing SEC offenses every weekend for a couple months, and then you kind of reevaluate, okay, like what do these offenses look like? You know, looking at it today, most of them are pretty righty heavy, which we've faced some very dynamic left-handed lineups the past couple weeks. In Alabama, Texas A&M, you know, I could recall them off the top of my head. But, you know, a lot of righties in the orders that we're going to face this week, which, you know, fares well for Gress, to be honest with you. So I expect a good performance from her this weekend. You know, and she's just a key piece for us moving forward every game we play. But I do think part of our success will lie in how Lamb and Hurd throw. You know, we want to give them the ball. We want them to, you know, be contributing factors in the success that we have this weekend. So I think just making sure that they're prepared for the roles that we're going to ask them to do will be key for us. But we're in a good spot. We're going to practice all week, and you know, I think the team is just really ready to play.
Ashley, you brought up a lot of players with you from Charlotte who were in the NCAA tournament. You had some players in South Carolina who were in it, but none were hosts. Have you talked to them about saying, hey, it's a little different, or is it different outside of the fact you get to play at home?
You know, it is different for sure. I think it's, you know, we've played well at home. If you really kind of like dig down into our schedule and really evaluate how the season went for us, I think we've played better at home. You know, we did win on the road at LSU, you know, but I think we've played really well at home. So I think it's kind of a little bit of sigh of relief just being able to be home, you know, in your routine, at your facility, in front of your fans. So I think, if anything, it's a positive thing for us. Maybe it takes a little bit of an edge off of going into somewhere else. So I just think they're excited about it. Tickets went on sale this morning at 10, and we've gotten great feedback all day of just, you know, we're selling a lot of tickets, so I'd expect it to be a good crowd.
You didn't get a chance to go through this type of experience when you were a player here at Carolina. Does it feel any different now that you're going through it as a coach, leading your alma mater to the postseason as a host?
Yeah, it does. It feels a lot different. I think, you know, the sport has changed so much since I played it, and, you know, my time at Carolina. It's bigger, it's better. It's, you know, there's just a lot of interest. The sport is growing nationally. We have a lot more attention, a lot more investment, financially, resources, like all kinds of things. So it's different. You know, it feels very professional to me. I mean, not that my experience did not feel professional before, but there's just some aspects of what we do now that we did not do 15 years ago. So yeah, it's a big deal, and I'm just really happy to bring the tournament to Columbia, to our fans, for them to enjoy, and, you know, to get more people behind the program, because it's, like I said, it's an exciting sport, and I think a lot of people are starting to get interested in it, and they have an opportunity to see some of the best softball that's going to be played in the postseason here at home.
Ashley, just I'm not sure how much you've been around the team since last night, but you know, regional host, super regional host, you kind of have to say, we got to get to the super regional first and keep that where it is.
For sure. You know, we will have conversation all week with them about that, but it is important that we stay kind of in the present moment of, you know, we've got to beat Elon first, and then, you know, we get the winner of Virginia and North Florida, and just kind of working our way through the regional, I think, is important. Hopefully we play 3 games and it feels kind of like a series for us, even though we're playing a different opponent every time, if that's the way it shakes out. But it's hard to predict. You know, you kind of don't want to get caught in that game of really predicting exactly what's going to happen, except for last night when I was predicting what seed we were going to be, you know. But yeah, you just kind of want to stay in the game you're playing. It's kind of, you start over 0-0 with your record postseason. It's like anything can happen at this point. Obviously, the matchup is us and Virginia, just from a statistical standpoint, being the 1 and the 2. But, you know, who knows how it's going to shake out. And then, you know, as a staff, we will have our eye on the UCLA regional, just kind of seeing how that's going throughout the weekends. But the team, you know, will be here where our feet are, focused on, you know, all the opponents that we have here this weekend.
Yeah, getting the top 8, how important was that in the fact that you see UCLA, you guys hypothetically wouldn't have to go to Los Angeles if you guys advanced to a Super. Just how big of a deal is it between getting that top 8 seed and essentially being on the outside?
Yeah, it's huge. I think statistically, I don't know exactly what percentage, but like when you play at home, you typically win. So I think it's our best shot at getting to Oklahoma City for sure. UCLA is really good. San Diego State's really good. So we'll see how their regional shakes out. But I mean, to cross over 3 time zones and have to play on the West Coast, we haven't gone out there this year. I might feel different if we had played a tournament out there in the preseason, but we didn't. We stayed close to home all preseason, and yeah, it's a big deal for us not to have to fly out and get adjusted to being out there. And everything is different once you start crossing time zones. So it's huge. It's really huge for us, and hopefully it works in our advantage.